these things apparently have the ability to be invisible. Now, apparently, our military we have some invisibility technology. But could you imagine something that the tens of thousands more advanced than we are? Obviously, they have the ability to make themselves invisible, and a lot of times they are. It's very interesting. Sometimes these things could be captured. These flying objects are captured on infrared cameras, and but not with the naked eye or with the regular, camera, and that creates a problem, obviously. And I had my own experience, and I've talked about this in a different video, where I had a dog when I was in Hawaii that was pretty much snatched away from me, and then it was missing for 2.5 hours, and then just suddenly reappeared. And over the years, I've come to the conclusion that it was extraterrestrials that did this. I just don't have any other explanation for it, any other logical explanation. I don't think it was ghosts. I'm just not, I although I've made some videos on this channel in the past about pictures that had alleged ghosts in them. I just don't know if I believe in ghosts. I never really had an experience, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe poltergeist activity, and I've done a video on this too, on whether poltergeist activity could be attributed to aliens. That's a much more logical explanation to me. What reasoning, I do not know. But if they have the ability to be invisible, then that means they could just do about anything. There's actually been reports where people see them be able to come through a wall. So that's even beyond invisible. That's not just invisible. That's the ability to walk through walls. These things, your technology is that far advanced. I guess that's a possibility. The ability to walk through a wall. Do I believe that? I don't know. This is just reports. I do know that these aliens are there. I've expressed my opinion on this numerous times. I'm at that point. I know some people aren't, but the thing is I believe these things have the capability of being invisible. And what does that mean? That means they could be in your house and you wouldn't know it. And you could be, even if they could land somewhere on your property and you wouldn't see them. And it doesn't. I don't understand the rhyme or reason behind any of this, but because they are visible sometimes to the naked eye, obviously, or you wouldn't have all these videos and pictures over the decades that we've accumulated. So why sometimes do they make themselves visible, and why sometimes are they invisible? Obviously, they are invisible sometimes. We know this. Some of the video that's been confirmed by the Pentagon that is of unknown origin. They say that. Well, just so you know, if you could catch my dog just walked in the kitchen and is drinking water. So if the mic's catching that. Please excuse it. Anyhow, if we know that they could be invisible to the naked eye, but infrared cameras can pick them up, so that means for the regular Joe, these things could land in your backyard. You might not even see them. You're not seeing because they have the capability of being invisible. And why they fluctuate between visible and invisible was unknown. Maybe they just don't care. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it will make sense until, I don't think in our lifetimes it's going to ever that the answer to this is going to be known. Who knows what their reasoning is for them using invisibility? They don't want us to know that they're hereof. I mean, they don't want us. I'm not sure I'm not sure what they want. I don't know. I mean, they abduct people. They, and they try to make them forget, and then they remember anyhow. So their methods aren't 100% surefire. I guess a brain. It's hard to completely control a human brain, I guess. That time when I was a kid, and obviously there was some presence in the room, some alien presence that you know I was awake for a 20-minute period. I knew it was something was there. I could hear a sound, like an electronic humming sound. And I talked about this in other videos about my experience with that, with the three-fingered being, whatever that was. I mean, why weren't they able to make me forget that? I mean, obviously, they try to make people forget these events, and sometimes it's successful, obviously, and then. But over the years, it seems like it took like 12 years for the guys that were the four campers in the Allagash abductions to begin remembering what really happened to them. Sometimes it takes a long time, and then it takes hypnotic regression to recall everything properly. So, yeah, these things, they could be anywhere, and you just wouldn't see them. You could be driving down the highway, and you'll see a clear blue sky, but you might not realize there might be something there, and you just can't see it because they're invisible. I know it sounds insane, but we know this, though. We know that they could look invisible, that they can't. We know this from what the Pentagon report indicated. I mean, the videos that the Pentagon confirmed that, yeah, these are some of the things that our cameras picked up, but could not be seen with the naked eye. So we know they could be, and think about that. They could be invisible. And this has happened before. I mean, it's not just the Pentagon. I mean, there's been other people. There's been regular civilian people across the world who filmed things, didn't know that they didn't even know something was there, or wouldn't have saw it if they didn't have an infrared camera. So we know they could be invisible, and that's a scary thought. And could they make themselves invisible? I think they can, because I think about the incident that I had when I was in Hawaii. You think about the stuff at the Skinwalker Ranch back in the 90s with the Sherman family, with things disappearing basically right in front of them. Lady comes home, the wife comes home with groceries, puts everything away, walks in the room for a few different room for a few seconds, walks back out, and everything's back in grocery bags. How does that happen? I mean, obviously something was there screwing with them, playing some sort of game. I think they were trying. I think whatever the presence at the Skinwalker. I think there must be some sort of base there or something in there, some sort of alien hotspot for whatever reason, and they don't want humans to be there, so they try to scare the hell out of them to make them get out of there. I mean, the family that was there before the Shermans had locks on every single door inside the house on both sides. It was insane. So obviously something was happening there. I'd like to get information on that first family that was there before the Shermans. I'd like to know what they experienced to do all those things. I'm sure they had some stories to tell too. But yeah, I think they use invisibility for purposes, who knows? Just so they could, I guess, just so they could do whatever they want without us seeing them doing it. I mean, when that time when my dog disappeared. In fact, I'll leave the link for that video I did a video about a month ago or so about that, and it was a very, very strange incident. Dog disappeared and reappeared 2.5 hours later, and it was just incredible how this whole thing went down. I think whatever did that had to be invisible, because I was there and I didn't see it. I didn't see anything, So there must have been something there, and I couldn't see it. But yeah, the implications of that, it's frightening. It's frightening that they could be invisible, and they could. Who knows who knows what the potentiality is of being invisible, and making your craft invisible so you can't see it, making yourself, your own body. Obviously they could do that somehow. It seems to me. Anyway, it's something else to think about.